Aloha, my people. I'm back again. It's Saturday, October 12th, 2024. I wasn't planning on... Well, I thought about bringing my tripod. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Hopefully this isn't too loud behind me. It's actually kind of dead out around here because it's Thanksgiving weekend here in Kazakhstan. But so I didn't bring my tripod. Yeah, I'm sitting behind this big old tree. I'm at a Christian school. Well, you see my car right here, but I'm at it's a public school. It used to be a regular public school, and then they turned it into like another Christian school, and there's like tons of them. I don't know who the hell can afford private school. Anyhow, and I had said yesterday in my video about a God Who Saves in the beginning that I had wanted to read something from our brother in Christ, and was a good friend of my husband and I's too, at the end of his life, Nelson Howe, which I linked in my video in the see more description, in the description box underneath the video. If you click more, it'll all pull everything down, and there's different links that I'll put in there. Description of the video. If you want to feel inclined to donate, if you want to email me, and I'll put different things, different links down there for people. Nelson has a website still up. He passed and went into repose, and showed all of us who knew him what it was like to go into repose full of faith and with dignity. He suffered tremendously, but he was an excellent teacher. And Brother Rick Longva, in those 2 boxes of books, he sent me a ton of not just books, but Unsearchable Riches, and also Grace and Truth Ministries out of the UK. And I think this is important, and I wanted to, at the end of Nelson's life, there was 2 videos. After the goodbye video, he thought he was going to go in repose, and he didn't for another year or so, almost. And there was a video when he's talking about pets. He was referring to our dog Shmigi. She was dying, and then she did go into repose, and a beautiful brother and sister in Christ helped us pay for that. They wanted to remain anonymous. All these years later, she passed March 11th, 2020. And he talked about that in one of his videos. In another video, he talked about addiction. He was referring to one of our children, adult children that was struggling. My one daughter who was struggling with serious addiction to fentanyl and crystal meth, who I can say, praise God, that she is now doing very well. My 28-year-old, and she is off the fentanyl, and she's off the meth, and she's healthy and in a really good relationship. She's in Toronto, and she's doing really well. And they just got, they have a dog, her and her boyfriend, but they just got another puppy. So I never thought I'd see the day, because it's been so long since she was 16 years old that I could finally say yay. And she gets a Suboxone shot that they give you a shot in the stomach like Suboxone or Methadone, but it works for a month and at a time, and that got her off the hard dope. Anyways, Nelson had made a video about that, talking about addiction. He didn't say whose, but we just appreciate him. And again, I'll link his website. He's got some really great teachings. He really had a gift for teaching, and also there's a love for the scriptures, and a love for all the brethren, and a love for Father God and Christ. Anyways, what I had wanted to read, and because I didn't bring my tripod, I have to hold my phone. And I think the light might be good enough for me. If not, I've got my glasses right here. I'm going to be double glasses. I got sunglasses, so maybe I'll just put them on just for... So, you know what? Anyways, I got to hold it like this. So, people are probably driving by going, what's that lady doing? You can see the cars, right? This is my street. I'm just down the street from my house. But I thought, I'm going to pull over, and it's a big old beautiful tree. Can I get the tree? Yeah, it's a big, beautiful tree. When I was a kid, I would be climbing that sucker. Anyways, this is from Grace and Truth magazine that came out that Rick Longva had sent me in the box of books. And this is called Correctly Cutting by Nelson Howe. Endeavor to present yourself to God qualified, an unashamed worker, correctly cutting the word of truth. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verses 15. The term correctly cutting, AV, okay, it says initial AV, so it means rightly dividing the word of truth. But correctly cutting is actually, I personally think, and so is my husband Paul, that correctly cutting is a better translation than dividing. has been given many different meanings. And so the term correctly cutting, or rightly dividing, the word of truth, has been given many different meanings, and these are generally the thoughts and wisdom of man. When studying the scriptures, it is imperative we get God's thoughts on the matter in order to be able to fully grasp the meaning. Sorry, my phone, because I don't have my tripod, I gotta hold it with my hands, people, sorry. The original Greek word translated correctly cutting is orthotomonta. Okay, I'm butchering that. Orthotomonta. I'll put that in the description box below. From orthon, which means erect, upright, and from tom, T-O-M, meaning cut. This word occurs only once in the New Testament, the Greek scriptures, so it is not possible to study the meaning concordantly from them. But there is help available by examining its usage in the Septuagint from the Hebrew equivalents. The word appears twice in the Septuagint. My brain stopped breathing, my mouth's not mouthing. My lips aren't lipping. Okay, Septuagint. I know how to pronounce this, but anyways. And Proverbs, where it translates the Hebrew word Ishr, I-I-S-H-R. I'm horrible. I would fail Greek if I had to take it in school right now. Which means to be straight, upright, and smooth, and gives us some insight into understanding the meaning of correctly cutting. Trust in Yahweh with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he himself will straighten your paths. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. The righteousness of the man of integrity will make his way straight, yet by his wickedness shall the wicked one fall. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 5. The context of these verses provide us with valuable insight into correctly cutting the word. And this can be seen clearly if we use that term in place of the word straighten. Trust it. So we're going to do this again. Trust in Yahweh with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he himself will correctly cut your paths. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5, 6. The righteousness of man of integrity shall correctly cut his way, yet by wickedness shall the wicked one fall. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 5. Applying this to our study of the scriptures, we are admonished to trust God and acknowledge him. And that means acknowledging his words as inspired, and not lean on our own understanding, especially interpretations that add to or subtract from the words that God has used. Studying the scriptures with integrity, acknowledging the words God uses to convey his thoughts to us, recognizing God is the one who directs our paths through the scriptures, we will benefit greatly in our understanding of his word and therefore his purpose. Indeed. By following God's signposts in the scriptures, we acknowledge his authorship of the word and are therefore able to present ourselves to him qualified, an unashamed worker, one who correctly cuts the word of truth, and by doing so we find ourselves on the straight path to understanding the inspired word of God. And I do agree with you, Nelson, on that one. And there's a little thing here afterwards. It's by EHC, and I'm not quite sure who that is. It's just initials. And it says, Old and New Testaments, ? Bible divisions are incorrect. In connection with correctly partitioning the word of truth, we should realize that the Bible has assumed a form which clouds our views. It comes to us divided into two sections, termed the Old and New Testaments. This ready-made division confuses and misdirects study in the initial stage. Yes, I do agree. I'm adding that, agree. The same people. This is the subtitle. It is often not realized that the ministries recorded in the four so-called Gospels are addressed to the same people as those addressed in the Old Testament. Nor does the subject change in the book of Acts. That book continues the beginning made by Israel's Messiah. But the activities of the 12 are gradually removed from Jerusalem and recede into the background. From now on, Acts chapter 13:38, we are turning to the nations. That's Acts chapter 13, verse 38. From now on, we are turning to the nations. It is their juncture that God introduces a radical change. He severs Saul and Barnabas. He is turning to the nations, to whom he sends an evangel based not on the life of Christ, but on his death and resurrection. We shall see that the partitioning must not be between Malachi and Matthew, but rather in Acts, when God distinctly announces that the evangel, brackets gospel, is now sent to the nations. The group of writings to which Paul's name is attached is God's great division in the scriptures for the present economy in which Israel is cast aside. That's all it says. But to add to that, I can take my glasses off now. Oh, I can never see after this. It makes logical sense when you understand there's two different groups of people. See, sometimes there's problems in the body where we call them two evangels. It's not necessarily two evangels, it's two different groups of people. But the Israelites were called to repent for crucifying their Messiah, whereas the nations, who were not, as I've said in other videos, and it's said elsewhere, they were without God in the world. They weren't under the law of Moses, the Gentiles, ever. So their message is the message of grace. And the Israelites is faith with works. Gentiles is grace through faith, right? Anyways, I thought I'd add, I guess, really why I wanted to share that from this book that was sent to me with all the other books from Nelson Howe, because I love him as a brother and he's a great teacher. But also, based on the last things I was saying yesterday about, I know some, and people should never feel guilty for not feeling so inclined to read the scriptures. I've went through years of not reading the scriptures. Like, in the 24 years that I come to a realization of Christ. In my Christian days, like I said yesterday in my video, I studied I studied my Bible. It was a New King James Version. But even as a believer, there was times where I didn't feel inclined to do so. And I would get nourishment from teachers, different teachers, and and then of course I'd look things up. Something if you're kind of confused and something's bothering you, by all means, look it up. Look it up for yourself. Pull it apart, the concordance. We've been given all the tools. You gotta remember that the first church, like Martin was saying in his video from yesterday, it's true. The first church, they didn't have. The Gentile nations didn't have all the Old Testament scrolls, the Torah, the Septuagint. They didn't have that, and they didn't have each other's letters either. Or maybe they did copy and send letters to the ones that were close by, because there is one part where, off the top of my head here, because I don't have my scriptures with me, where Paul says to one of them says, and the Laodiceans, I've written a letter to them, and trade letters basically. I'll have to go look up where it is. I'm sorry, my bad. I should, back, even when I was a Christian, there's scriptures that come to mind. There's lots of scriptures that will come to my mind. I know the scriptures, but for chapter and verse, like all of them, no. Some of them, there's the odd ones I'll remember, but I don't have a photographic memory like that. I mean, I used to have better memory when I was young, but I'm getting older. Anyways, I greet y'all with a holy kiss, and hopefully this wasn't too loud behind me. Like, there was no cars, and now as soon as I start making a video, there's all these darn cars, of course. Anyways, I hope you're all doing well wherever you are, day and night, and I love you all so very much. And I hope that you enjoyed this, and if you want to check out Nelson's channel, if you didn't know who he was, that you would. And by all means, study for ourselves, study for ourselves. Like I said in other videos in the past, I follow no man except Christ Jesus. And I mean, in the Apostle Paul's teachings too, but I mean, there's lots of transmissional scriptures throughout the Old Testament and through the accounts of the four, and then the apostles. But Peter and Matthew, Luke, John, but Jude. But it's one of those things where I'm not a fangirl of anyone. I don't believe every single thing that every single teacher that I listen to teaches, because no one has all the truth, and people do make mistakes, and so do I. So we always should be praying and studying for ourselves. Anyways, I'll talk to you again soon. About 15 minutes. Boy, see, no videos all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden all these videos. But we're supposed to, oh, by the way, it says on the Weather Network we're supposed to get snow on Monday here in terrible Kanakistan and Guelph. A little bit of snow. It's going to go down to 1. It means it's going to be frost. I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh, I gotta try and get up. Oh. Anyways, I can't get up. Oh, hang on. Oh. I cannot wait to trade in this body of humiliation for my glorified body. This body of corruption for incorruption. Anyway, I know you're all either, can you guys, right? Some of the young believers, they're not feeling the aches and pains of us old timers here. Anyways, I love you all very much. I'll be back soon when the Lord wills. I'm not happy about that snow. It's going to be a little tiny bit. It probably won't stay. It's not the point. It's the point that, no. Anyways, I want to do another grocery store video for a different grocery store because the prices are just unreal. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving to all my fellow Kanakistanians. And I guess it's Columbus Day or Indigenous People Day in the United States. So it's a long weekend. I don't know why, I know some American YouTubers that were talking about, I don't know why we're celebrating that we stole the people's land. So they call it Indigenous Day there, now, as they should. But anyway, the Indigenous people in that country and our country deserve more than a day. They're treated horribly by the American government, as our Canadian government treats our Indigenous people. To this day, there's boil water advisories all through Canada on reserves. That's a fact. I have a sister that works up on one, and I have friends. Anyways, I love you all very much. I'm yapping for 17 minutes. People don't want to watch videos that long, but yeah, what a beautiful tree. I'm trying to find all these trees. No, you can see a couple of turning leaves, but oh, there's one little leaf turning there, but overall this tree's not turning yet. Anyway, soon enough it'll be barren, and then I'm gonna have to somehow get that room ready to go. Okay, I've yapped long enough. I'll talk to y'all again soon. Oh, the squirrels are out in full force trying to get ready for winter. Well, I've got a story for another day about my window and a squirrel trying to make its home when I opened it up one day. And it growled. I never heard a squirrel growl before. Oh, I'm telling you the story right now. It tried to make its home in my windowsill with my window open. That was a couple weeks ago. I'm like, no, you're not a squirrel. No, get out. Anyways, talk to you again soon.